Hi YouTubers, it's George, and I'm in the garage. Just kicked my toolbox, apologies for that, and I've done a small modification. One of the things I'm finding is a lot of the kit I'm testing recently has been 12 volt, and I haven't got a 12 volt mains power supply. I'll have to treat myself sometime when I get some YouTube money, if I get any. And so what I've did was I use a 12 volt car battery, which is a dual purpose battery, can be used as a leisure or an engine start battery, and I use that to run my diesel heater, and that's charged or boost charged by a solar panel, a small one in the window of the garage. But what I've done, I've run some wires from the battery, and I had these spare terminals, alright, they're not red and black and things, but so what I've done is I've connected them via a fuse to the battery, so I don't need the battery on here, but I've got these terminals I can connect to whatever I'm testing. The centre one is earth, yellow is positive and blue is negative, 12 volt. And this earth excuse me, this earth is for if I'm testing radios, because it's not electrical earth as in the electricity board earth, it's an earth as in a radio earth, which is a rod about 4 or 5 foot long, knocked into the ground, into the soil, so it's an RF earth, and I can use that. I could join those two together if it's a negative earth radio, but I'm keeping them separate. And I just thought I'll show you this, and this will come in very handy. It's got a decent fuse on it, so it'll take up quite a bit of power. So what am I testing today? This is a power amplifier with FM radio, and you can plug USB into it, SD, and it's got phono sockets on the back. It's a car one. It's got a remote control, and I picked it up on a local, not car boot, but one of these free cheapy local sites. So I think it was a £5, and it was an impulse buy, and I thought I'll buy it and then I can give it away as a prize or a present or to another YouTuber. Digital signal processing, digital audio player, SD card, USB card, 2 phono sockets on the back, little aerial, it's got FM radio, and I'll switch it on, see if it does something. Stuff like this, you never know what you're getting. But let's switch it on and see if it powers up. Ooh. I'm getting hiss. It's only working on one speaker. Could be this speaker connection. So, something's happening. Turn the volume down. I'll check the speaker. See if it's the wire I've connected is bad, or it's something I've done. Well, it's working on the radio. Whereas now it seems to be very neat. I wouldn't have said the quality was that very good, but it's difficult on voice. I can't play music.
Repertory theatre or touring, but we're trying to keep that alive, the whole variety thing of saying, look, we can tick lots of boxes, and just
anyway, it's alright for what I paid for it, and I'm going to play around with the remote control. I think the battery's gone in that, so I'll see if I've got another one.
No, actually,
this is one of my first projects to do with electronics, and it's to do with a transformer, or Ballon they're called. It's a matching unit, a matching transformer, and it's a 49:1 transformer, which is used to match an aerial. And I'm just doing a bit of soldering on it and finishing it off. It's been modified before it goes into its case, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. I don't know if you could see that in this light. Yeah, it's got up to 100 watts rated. It's got 3 cores. It's got the usual 100 picofarad capacitor across it. and yeah, looks like it's coming on very nicely. So I've got to do a bit more soldering and the bolts and things like that, sort the bolts out. Okay, that's this Ballon back together. I've just got to finally seal it off in its container with some silicone. Cut these little bolts down so the plug goes on easier, and it'll be testing time. Well, if you've been wondering why I haven't been putting up any videos, it's because we're painting and decorating. Now this room was pink, believe it or not, and we've painted it magnolia. We've got pictures to put on the walls, got to put the door back on and things like that, and I'm experimenting with the wall lights. They were, there's two of them, and that's how they was when we moved in, or still are. And what I've done, I took it off the wall, this one, and I've bent it so it's more down, and that one's facing up and this one's facing down. We're trying to get some new wall lights, but because of the shortage of materials, it's very, very difficult. And started over here doing some work on James painting the skirting boards, and I was going to do some work related to radio, but it was 2 degrees centigrade last night in the garage, and the garage seems to hold the cold, and I don't really want to put heating on just for being out there for about 10 minutes, but I'm carrying on with my 49:1 Ballon, which is a matching transformer sort of thing for aerials, for listening and transmitting on. So if you're not into ham radio, a lot of this is meaningless. Now I'm actually on the bedroom carpet at the moment, and this is the Ballon 1:49 ratio, and that's to do with the matching of aerials to transmitters and radio receivers. This section here normally hangs and goes onto these bolts, and then there's wires that run off down the garden or wherever it's going to be mounted, and the length of the wire is dependent on the frequency you're working on, and so it's 50 ohms or 50 there, and it transforms it 49:1. So if that's 50, 49 times 50 is 2450. So that's the loading I need to put on to this transformer. And what I've done, I've made a test piece here, which is some resistors, and I'll show you the value of those. Right, okay, this load I've just made there is 2500. This meter's not that accurate, so this is the closest I can get it in terms of resistance value. 2450, 251 is near enough. So I'm going to put it onto here and then put my analyser on it, and we should see what the SWR looks like, or the standing wave ratio, or the return loss. I'll do that next. Okay, and this is on the test piece of kit. So the SWR is about 1.5 at 24 megs. .6, it's about 2.25. .8 megs, it's almost 1:1. look at 7.1 megahertz, 10.04. It's about 1.5 to 1. And if we look at 14 meg, it's about just over 2 to 1. Go down a little bit. Yeah, about 2 to 1. It's a funny old graph, but there's no actual aerial on it. Let's see if I just touch some of the connections. That's the earth, that's the aerial. Yeah, normally you'd have an aerial wire on the top here. You can see just my capacitance is changing. So that's as good as it's going to get. A bit disappointed it's not a better response than this. Let's go to 14 meg, shall we? 14.0 meg. Right, and we'll stop it at 14.6 meg. Okay, so the SWR is pretty flat, below 2. I would have liked to have seen it lower than that. Now with a 1 to 9 Ballon without proper resistance loading, the display is all over the place. No, it's not showing up very well at all. Anyway, it's not conclusive what I'm doing. It's just messing about. Well, I hope this aerial setup works as a temporary basis. Just got to plug the coax in.
Specially at my side as well, got it. Okay, Darryl, name's Mike India, Kilo Echo. Yeah, okay, Darryl, very good. What do you say? Come into no problem at all.